you. Just allow us some time to connect with our first management on the show today. AurionPro Solutions is the company on the radar. Now, this is a stock that has surged 167% in the last 1 year, so it's been a top-notch performer. Now, the latest news is that the company has received the final authorization to operate as an online payment aggregator by the Reserve Bank of India. It aims to offer a wide range of services in the payment ecosystem globally, actually, not just in India. To talk about this, understand these prospects better, we have with us Ashish Rai, CEO of the company. Ashish, great to have you on, and congratulations on getting the final approval from the central bank. Now, just give us, the entire construct on this new business, payment aggregator. What are you hoping to achieve? What are the timelines, local, global, and some numbers as well, the scale up, and how much can this business contribute to your overall top line tally?
Thanks, Surabhi. Good morning, and thank you for having us. Look, I think for us, we are a global products and platforms player. We've been present in the payment space across the spectrum, on the issuer side, on the transit side, etc., in a long way, right? So for us, it's where can we bring the strengths of AurionPro in creating deep IP, in creating software together with the ability to sort of run payment transactions, right? So I think from going through this process with Reserve Bank of India and getting the approval, I think it's sort of a huge statement for us in terms of our capabilities in bringing everything together. I think what we've seen over time across all our businesses, I mean, there's a first order value creation, which is usually running the transactions, and that allows you some level of value capture. But the real value capture happens when you get to the second order, where you bring software together and end-to-end platform capabilities together with the ability to run payment transactions. So transit is, for example, it's a great example, right? We've got one of the most integrated end-to-end transit payment stacks in the world. We're present from US, sure, Latin America, Central America, Australia, India as well. We are a big major player. Can we bring, now we run it through our own gateways. The value creation, sure, is a lot more, right? So it's going to be a significant bet for us going out into the future.
So, Ashish, I mean, since you're saying obviously this is going to be step by step, and the first order benefits will probably be measured in the number of transacting users you can get online, right? Share some targets with us and also timelines. By when will this be set up? And this is going to be open to, it's going to be a B2C platform, or is it a B2B platform? And how many users or how many transactions will you target in the first phase? Some timelines and some numbers.
Okay, so look, great question. So for us, I would not want to start throwing dollar numbers out here, because I think, look, overall, we will embed this inside. The initial use cases will be where we are already present and we sit this alongside us. So transit, for example, is several hundred crores over time in terms of the opportunity that we can target, right? And we will embed our gateways inside. That's the first use case. Your question about B2C and B2B is relevant, right? We will go where we are strong. So B2B will be a huge focus for us in terms of can we, bring this together with our strengths around the B2B SaaS offerings, for example, that we have, right? So I think that again would be a huge driver. We will embed this inside most of our offerings that go out. Sure. So transit, B2B, supplier payments, I think that is going to be the focus. In principle, approval was quite some time back, right? So we've been working at building this out. So we are nearly ready. We will be sort of out over the next few months as we roll these offerings out.
So Ashish, it's safe to say that this is factored into your long-term growth guidance of 30%, right?
Look, we've been growing at 35% for the last 4 years, right? We will organic. We have number of levers to drive the growth. This is built in. Of course, at some point in time, you start hitting, an inflection point where the growth, can be a bit of an hockey stick beyond where we are. But by and large, I'm not going to change my, guidance over this. We'll stick to the 30 to 35 that we've been guiding.
Okay, 30 to 35% growth guidance, you stick to that. Got it. Can you give us a sense of how the order book is shaping up overall? What are the growth levers for you? Where is the maximum amount of traction coming in from over the next 12 to 18 months?
Yeah, so Sonia, order book is very strong. So I think the last reported number we had was 1,000 crores plus, right at the end of last year, which is strong enough for us to power through the growth numbers that we planned for this year. the demand really for a lot of our offerings is something we've never seen, right? So these numbers will move. So for example, corporate banking transformation deals on the transaction banking side, on lending side, I mean, the pipeline is probably, even in India, is probably 4 times what it used to be. So we are trying to calibrate the growth. Demand is really very strong, but you want to grow at a measured pace because you're running for the long term, right? So order book is very strong. Pipeline is really something we haven't seen across transit, across banking, across even the data center spaces, right? And we are trying to calibrate the growth so that we can keep the delivery quality at the right level, right? So I think that is essentially where the business is.
All right. Hi, Ashish. Good morning and good to see you, Ben. Ashish, one part of this rally, that we have seen is you being the CEO, you have close to around 6.5–7% stake in the company. So besides having the plans for the company, being a shareholder as well, what do you think about the stock price? It's moved up so drastically. What kind of message will you give to your shareholders?
Yeah, so look, Nigel, like Buffett says, right? I mean, price is what you pay, value is what you get. I think ultimately it's a question of what levers does the management team have to drive the value. Revenue growth is one of those things, right? We've been growing at 35%. I think probably one of the very, very few Asian or Indian tech players, real tech players, right, not services, who actually been growing at 35%, sort of really like clockwork every year. Second, we've been running 21–22% EBITDAs, which sort of puts you in the top few in terms of profitability in the space. But the most important thing about AurionPro is the IP. We've been building out globally competitive tier 1 products that can go out and play in very large spaces on a global scale. And I think that's where the value comes from, which no real accounting report will capture, right? So we'll keep growing at a very strong pace. We'll stay very profitable. We've done a number of acquisitions, as you've seen, and we'll keep on strengthening the portfolio. But the real value is the IP that we create day in and day out. And I think that portfolio really is a significant amount of value that's captured in AurionPro.
Okay, so you continue to grow at 30–35%. Your margins you're confident of holding at around the 20–22% odd, and the ROCs as well in the vicinity of around 20%. Is that the broad guidance?
Yeah, that's the broad guidance. So ROCs, we have a very, very high bar when it comes to any new investments. So we typically target 25% or more in terms of capital on any new capital we're putting to use. Yeah, so that's broadly the picture.
All right, ROC of 25% is the target on more capital that's incremental capital that's being allocated. Well, thanks a lot, Ashish, for joining in and giving us a sense about how you see business shaping up. We'll keep an eye out on those targets because for the time being, the stock has run up considerably. The profitability for the last year was around 150 crores. So execution from year on will be tracked as well.